All right, viewers, let's connect right now on the massive brewing debate on unparliamentary words and today's circular, which suggests that protest cannot take place on the premise of the parliament. Mind you, this is not a circular which is a gift of this current government. It's been in circulation ever since 2009, at least that's what we can look at. And even when it comes to unparliamentary words, the dictionary of that, this is just 45 pages, which has been added by this incumbent government, where 2021 and 22 is concerned. It's 1954, and this list, I might have just 45 pages. It's about 1,100 pages long. Joining me on that is Mr. P Chidambaram, senior Congress leader and an MP of the Congress who's seen many seasons of the Parliament. Sir, appreciate you joining us. There's a lot of furor, especially from many of your colleagues from your very own party, who say that the unparliamentary expressions which were put forth, added to this long list which has been in circulation and curated even by your government since 1954, sir. Do you think that it needs to be taken a little more lightly than that? Because if you look at it, you know, it's not just the gift of this current government. You know, your own government has added these unparliamentary words since 1954. The today's order, which has come in, that protest cannot take place on the premise of the parliament, is an order which we've seen in 2009 as well, sir.
I think you should look at the funny side of it. I don't take these very seriously. Look at the lighter side of it. What are they trying to do? They're trying to help you increase your vocabulary. The average person is reported to use only 2,000 words in his normal conversation. The Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries have many more thousand words. So this is a way to expand your vocabulary, ask you to learn new words. I think that's very useful. It's a very great service that Parliament section is doing for us. The second way to look at it is, in fact, another way to look at it, it's very important. Sign language is being propagated all over the world today. Even newscasts are accompanied by sign language specialists. So we should learn to speak in sign language. It will reduce the noise pollution. People will be briefer and they can communicate more expressively. So you will find many more parliamentarians speaking in the sign language. So these are the good fallout of this historic decision.
Mr. Chidambaram, the fact that you are approaching this huge political controversy, which many of your own colleagues are adding sound to, in a lighter vein, I'm sure is welcome. I'm sure your own colleagues can pick a leaf or two of what you're saying, that one should look at the funnier side of it. Now, if you're looking at the funnier or the humorous side of it, for someone who's made many interventions in Parliament, with the current gag list is what your party is calling it, how do you intend to make an intervention?
I have even a draft speech that I will make if the economic situation is discussed. I have a draft speech with a lot of expunged words, and I will speak. When I speak, I will say, for example, the government is not expunged to present these demands. Not only is the government looking expunged for asking for more money within 4 months, we are made to look expunged. We don't need any more evidence to demonstrate how expunged is the present government. So I'll speak that way. Every unparliamentary word, I will substitute it by the word expunged. Or I will have a bell and I will ring the bell.
So, you know, you're saying, you know, it's an interesting speech. Maybe it will make more impact because every word that you've expunged, one does wonder what that word is. But having said that, it's happened in your time as well, Mr. Chidambaram. It's happened, you know, successively through your governments as well, where you know, constantly, session by session, added to this list.
I have never been asked in the many years that I've been in government, I've never been asked to suggest words for inclusion or exclusion. What I say about myself, I think applies to all the ministers of the Congress government and the UPA government. So don't blame the government then. I don't know if I should blame the government now. I'm not prepared to blame the government now. It's quite possible that nobody in government knew about it. So keep government out of it. Look at it as, in fact, what is worrying me is what the Honorable Speaker explained. I'm sure he explained it in a particular way and I may have understood it wrongly. He says it will depend upon the context of the speech, what will be expunged or what will be retained. Now that reminds me of an old rule, show me the man and I'll show you the rule. Show me the parliamentarian and I will decide whether it will be expunged or not. I mean, that is worrying me, but my worry may be completely baseless.
Mr. Chidambaram, it's interesting because I think today you're one of the very few congressmen who's come on record to say that I don't want to blame the government, don't blame us then when this list was added to, don't blame this government. Sir, are you trying to say it's the work of overzealous bureaucracy which works within the parliament?
Oh, there is an entrenched bureaucracy within the parliament like in every other institution. I'm sure your organization also has an entrenched bureaucracy. And these are bureaucratic responses to normal situations.
You know, Mr. Chidambaram, the fact is, even with today's order, which says that no protest, dharna, strike, religious function will be allowed on the premises of the parliament. Now, this is an order, sir, which is in circulation since 2009 as well. The fact is, you never really acted on it because many times we've seen Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi themselves come in and protest under, the overarching figure of Mahatma Gandhi, the statue within the parliament. Will you continue to do so? Because we don't know if this order is going to be followed in spirit or like your parties gave out, where, an order is given but never quite followed.
Why would we not be allowed to protest under the Gandhi statue? Have they removed the Gandhi statue? As long as the Gandhi statue is there, we will protest if we decide to protest. Unless they remove the Gandhi statue, they can't remove us protesters. Right. The right to protest will be there as long as the Gandhi statue is there. But we want to run it as a business session. We want to debate issues. But the government will preempt every debate by some excuse or other. If they want to provoke us to disrupt the House so that there can be no debate, I'm afraid the general feeling is we should not be provoked to disrupt Parliament. We should still insist on a debate. Let's see what happens on Monday.
Mr. P Chidambaram, it's a breath of fresh air because at least you're looking at the lighter side of things. Not many politicians, including in your party, are doing so. But I'll end with a serious question, sir. The last monsoon session, many of us, who've tracked it, was a complete wash-up. There was no debate. There was constant walkouts. So you know very well what went down in the last monsoon session. Do you see this session being possibly more productive?
What is productive and what is not? Passing a bill on an average of 9 minutes, you call it productivity. Passing a bill without debate, is it productivity? Replacing an ordinance by a bill without sending it to the standing committee, is it productivity? These are false notions of productivity. I think you don't measure productivity by the quantity. You measure productivity by the quality of the work.
Well, we do hope, sir, which hasn't happened in the past, that we see a qualitatively strong monsoon session, a parliament session which many of us journalists, or rather the people of the country, haven't seen in the recent past. Qualitative from the terms of the opposition as well. And yes, we do hope that the opposition continues to have the right to protest because it is the right of the opposition. Thank you. Mr. P Chidambaram, for joining us, and thank you for reading out the speech that you might read out with the expunged words in the monsoon session. Appreciate it. With that,